9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to IFB at the Fleet Broadcasting. I am New York Pete. I'm here with my best friend, the Tipsy Toaster, and we bring a unique spin to sci-fi pop culture. We grew up 70s and 80s. That's where we reach back and relive and bring to you our take on things, because we were there. We watched it, we lived it, we loved it. So TV, movies, cartoons, comic books,
fan fiction.
That's fan fiction. That's our basis. And then we also love all sci-fi, even the current stuff, and throw in just a little bit of horror. And we love our stuff. We go to conventions. We have guests. We love military sci-fi, and so this is our show. So welcome. We have two special guests tonight. So we're going to have the doc in the house, right?
Doc in the box?
The doc in the box will be here with us. Actually, he is with us. And then after that, we're going to have an author coming on. But so that's something that we don't usually do. But we have two special guests. And one of them, our first guest, the surprise guest, is someone that many of you should be familiar with. And we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of great things happening, and we'll do some updates, and we'll tell you some of the activities that the Tipsy Toaster and I are directly involved in. So welcome everybody to the show.
So welcome all you colonials, Cylons, runners. Help me out here. Slee Stacks.
Slee Stacks. Oh yes.
All of you.
Rebels.
There we go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You stormtroopers, your brown coats.
The brown coats.
Don't forget the brown coats. Can't forget the brown coats.
Them. Yes.
All of you.
What about
residents of Defiance? What's that?
Stargate.
Yes, what would they be called? Stargadians? What?
I guess so. Yes. No.
He was. They were. Air Force. What was the?
Yeah,
it was
part of.
What was their?
Stargate.
It was it was sort of the Stargate. What was the?
Command.
All you members of Stardate.
Okay, Federation
Command.
Members. Thank you.
Federation
Rob.
members. Yes, don't forget the Federation members. Klingons. Vulcans.
Cylons.
Cylon. I already did Cylons. What the heck was the Thelosians? Right.
Wow.
Orions.
Wow.
Orions. We need to make a list. We can imagine all these people.
Yeah, that'd
and
be
then
cool.
All you people that are you Knight Rider fans, and you BJ and the Bear and Fall Guy and vampires. Don't forget vampires.
Yes, vampires. That's right.
Zombies.
Yep.
Wow, we've got a lot of Borg. Oh, yeah, Borg.
Yeah, Rob's feeding me answers.
Rob's feeding you answers. That's cheating, Rob. Don't help Pete cheat.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Hey, let's the doc is here.
Yes. Doc in the box. He's down here somewhere.
Yes.
Oh, I think we lost. He's there, but he's not in the picture.
It's not Doctor Who.
Not Doctor Who. But you could actually think he is Doctor Who.
It's not Doctor Who.
You did miss out Gallifreyans in your intro.
That's right. That's right.
See, that's why the doc is in. It's right. It's Dr. Chris McAuley. Hey, Chris, welcome to the show, man.
Welcome thanks for having me back.
Yeah. Welcome back to North America. You've been traveling and wandering in the TARDIS, and now you're back, and you're going to tell us a whole bunch of stuff. So if you're ready, Doctor and Tipsy, our tradition is to toast the fans.
Oh, I don't have. Oh, keep talking. I goofed
Okay,
up. Forgot
because
something.
the last time we did this, there was
Un momento,
technical
por favor.
difficulty, and
I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
okay, so wait a second,
What?
Mr.
What?
McAuley.
Yeah, don't start drinking already. Hang on.
Yeah, what the heck, man? You can't open up. You can't do it. Wait a second. We didn't even open anything up yet. What are you like jumping the gun?
Well, after last time, my walls were painted with beer. I'm not doing that this time. I don't have 2 hours to clean the basement floor walls again and have a particularly angry wife shout at me from upstairs. So no, we're not doing that this time round. We've come pre-prepared.
Okay, so yes, for those of you that missed Chris McAuley, Dr. Chris McAuley, Ambassador Chris McAuley's last visit, there was an issue. He was given a bad can. Oh yes, it was a can of beer, I think, and it exploded. And it wasn't his fault, but we saw some of it online here live, and I really almost fell out of my chair. I was laughing so hard, but that's neither here nor there. So okay. So you're excused, Dr. McAuley. You're excused.
But we don't have the spicy beer tonight. I mean, come on.
Oh my God, that was so funny. What happened? But that's just me. Anyway.
Although I did find a spicy wine, I'm going to have to try.
What did you get?
Wine.
What are you drinking?
What am I drinking tonight?
Yeah. What are you drinking?
Beer.
Okay, just beer. Okay, cool.
No.
I'm
got good
actually
beer.
drinking cider.
Cider.
So,
say it again. How do you say that in New York? New Yorkian?
Cider.
I forget to welcome all the New Yorkians too.
With a small C. With a small C. We're going to send you to New York Grammar School.
Well, I'm going up there for a week. Maybe they'll teach me how to talk.
Yeah, you're going to teach a little bit.
So I'm having
how to pronounce.
I'm having an interesting one tonight. So we found a black ox. 6%. That's not too bad. It is the beginning of a long-lasting relationship. Brewed in Ashburn, Virginia. Not too heavy, not too light. This porter is just right. Changing as it warms, the brew reveals the taste of sensations of every sip. Hints of coffee and chocolate give way to subtle rye spice, only disappear in a delicate, tasty, and roasty finish.
Oh my God! All right.
Yes. Delicious beer, family community, Old Ox Brewery, oldoxbrewery.com. No, we didn't get any money from them. No, we did have to buy this, but we did get a donation to buy it. So thank you so much.
And I'm drinking Budweiser, the king of beers, the perfect compliment for any occasion. I'm still trying to get your sponsorship there, guys.
Yes. All right, ready?
All right, ready?
Let's go. One, two, three. Okay. All right.
This should be as dark as my soul.
All right. Let's
Ready?
go. I'm pouring.
Got Midtown. Hang on, I'm gonna pour sideways so you can see how dark it is. Oh, look at that, beautiful.
Look at this. Look at my Chewbacca Han Solo.
Ooh, I like that one.
Exclusive. That's a great cup, right? A great
That is
glass.
a great cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still dark. We're lots of foam.
Right.
Lots of foam. Too much foam. I think this beer is not beer, but foam.
Oh my God! It's like a black hole, man.
Damn, as dark as my soul.
Dark as your shirt.
Yes, dark as my shirt.
Somebody's going to be shitting the bed tonight.
I don't know.
Thanks for that, Doc.
Coffee and
prognosis.
Yeah. I can't help what Pete drinks. I mean, I understand that Pete drinks that cider stuff. So
yes, it is a Burger King glass, Coca-Cola, 1977.
Wow.
So
it's a little faded though, Pete. You're gonna have to color that in a little bit.
No, man, it's perfect. It is perfect. Look at that. So, guys,
here we go.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
We have a bunch of our regulars are here. Thank you, guys. I'll be naming names.
Will we be dropping names later?
That's right. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for dropping in. Chris, appreciate it. And so, hey, fans fuel the fleet, right, Tipsy?
Yep. Fans fuel the fleet. Thank you so much for being here.
Thumbs up. Excellent. Oh boy. Oh, how was that?
Chocolatey coffee.
Yeah.
Not too acidy. It's nice. It's a nice delicate. What did they say? It was give way to the subtle rye spice, only to disappear into a delicate roasty finish. Yes, it does do that. Yes.
You have that. Okay. All right. This is not Gilligan's Island, but mine tastes like apples, and that's perfect for tonight. But anyway,
I would hope so.
Baz,
It's cider, unless
Baz
it's
is with
pineapple
us.
cider.
Lola, Rob Baum. Let's see, who am I missing? There's a bunch of Shane. Hey, Shane, thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. And of course, I mentioned Lola, and I'm trying to juggle.
Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl.
Oh yeah. Oh, Sean Shallow from Battlestar Bulletin Board is here. Thank you, Sean, for tuning in. I'm going to try to stay on top of all of you guys as you pop up. Of course, our unofficial fact checker, Rob Baum, is on, and he's on top of. He's keeping me on my toes. Thank you, sir. And hey, it's all good, man. If I tell you that trying to keep up with Chris McAuley is near impossible. He's been overseas, and he was dividing and conquering over in Europe, and then decides to come back, and before he even lands, he's already got all types of franchising news, and even before he came on the show, he was giving me dropping hints on some of the other things he's been doing. So Dr. Chris McAuley, who is now also officially has an ambassador's title. I believe it's the Chamber of Commerce in Ireland. You'll correct me if I'm wrong.
That's
bestowed
exactly
upon
right.
you.
Yeah.
They've bestowed upon you an ambassadorship, so you're representing overseas. And so congratulations, Chris, is in order. You went. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. So not only am I graced with the Facebook, I follow on Facebook, and so should you guys, but I'm able to get some inside information, insider trading off of Dr. Chris McAuley. Yeah, and so I know all kinds of other insider stuff.
Boy, am I really regretting that shit the bed statement now or there. But there we go. There we go.
Chris, welcome to the show. You're not a stranger here, and we put together a small presentation based on some of the pictures that you shared with us, and we're gonna have you talk a little bit about them, because I mean you were doing some really cool stuff, and then you have updates, whether it be Stokerverse, want to talk Dark Legacies,
games.
Let's talk about, I mean, your trivia books, your writing, all kinds of. I mean, it's head spinning, but it's so cool. We're very proud of all your work, and we're glad to be a part of the an asset to your abilities, and help you get the words out. And so give us some of that sweet insight into the world of Dr. Chris McAuley.
Right, where do I start with this? Is it the picture of the
there we go.
The pictures up?
Working on it. Yep.
Yeah, Tipsy's gonna bring them up.
I'm working on it. Hang on, we got some.
All right, he's gonna press some more
technical difficulty.
I think, to be honest, if I start by saying to everybody here, I mean, this all started when I was a kid and I had fandoms, and like you mentioned, nearly all my fandoms with Knight Rider A-Team. Was it WCW wrestling at the time? Tropic Thunder with Hulk Hogan, Space Precinct, which was a Jerry Anderson thing that was live action. I did watch Classic Battlestar on BBC Two, but didn't really get it because we loved disjointed episodes. Doctor Who was always my prime thing. I loved, still do. Very glad to be working on Doctor Who at the minute.
Pete's going out to get ice cream. Hang on.
And Star Trek and all of this stuff, it just happened from being a fan of these things. So I mean, if you're watching this and you're wondering, can you do this? Can you do sort of similar things to what I'm doing? Of course you can, because I did it. So that means that you can do it as well. So I'll start with that.
Hang on, it's a rough one tonight. I had enough sleep last night. There we go.
Oh, here we go. Right.
There we go.
This particularly embarrassing picture, and I thank these young lads for standing there. Their teacher made them do it. I went to my old secondary school, grammar school back home called Ballymena Academy. I was invited there to lecture kids from the ages of it was 14 to 18. And this picture you brought up is actually of primary school as well. I went to my old primary school, which was 175 years old on the very day that I went to talk to these kids. So the primary school stuff, I read out new stories from my kids' book, from my new kids' book, which a publisher has at the minute. And I will always try and test my stories in front of children. It's terrifying because kids are going to be very honest. And
That's true.
I did that with my first kids' book. And it was an interesting experience. But thank God they actually liked the stories. And the stories are all about first times in the kid's life, first time going to the dentist, first time going to school, all that kind of stuff, because I'm trying to help parents remove fear from those events in a child's life, So that's kind of what this kid's book's about. And then I taught the kids poetry as well. So I brought in an apple and got them all to hand the apple round and asked them to please not taste the apple. But we went through the senses, the five senses, even like sound. And I asked them, what would sound be like if you crunch into the apple or the apple falls from a tree, or God forbid you throw it at your teacher. What would that sound like? And when we brought up descriptive words, and then I taught them about rhyming and how we can rhyme, and rhyming in poetry is like beating out a musical rhythm. It's like creating a musical story. And the kids were amazing. They actually brought up some incredible stories. And I mean, these are kids here like from the ages of 6 to 10. So I took a couple of classes. And then with going back to the grammar school thing with the older kids, I was chatting to them about, they were actually studying Dracula.
Oh wow!
So I was able to give them a little bit of insight into Dracula, and then look at Gothic literature with Shelley and all that kind of stuff. And then we kind of moved into the older kids, and it was kids who wanted to write for film and television and get into that. So I gave them I tried to give them a masterclass on that. I've done that with Pete's group as well, the film students with Pete. So it was a slightly more adapted and abridged for a younger audience version of that. So I did those kind of things, and then I was told that my secondary school are naming their library after me. Now I have to admit, I wasn't the best pupil. I had to apologize for that when I was there. But that was nice. That was a nice moment. So anyway, that was the stuff with the schools. I've written today. I just finished writing a Bram Stoker biography for young adults, and what I've been doing is trying to create a sort of a treasury on that. So the next one I'm doing is Charles Dickens. The next one's going to be William Shakespeare. And I'm kind of moving on to that because teachers have told me that they really need those kind of resources from writers. There's a massive dearth of fiction or biographies or really engaging books for kids from the ages of 7 to 12. So that's what I've been doing, and that will be. I believe that the Bram Stoker biography will be published very soon, so keep an eye out and you'll find out who the publisher is. As well, hopefully they take the kids' book as well. It's the same publisher, which you might be watching right now. Anyway, let's move on. So we've got Sugarverse games. So I was allowed on World Dracula Day, which is 26th of May, to start talking about these games. So the one on the left is a card-based game from Iconic Studios. And Iconic do an awful lot of games and franchises They Live, John Carpenter's They Live, Evil Dead, Street Fighter, Saw, all sorts of things. So I was very grateful that they enjoyed the stories in the Stokerverse, and they have now started work on a card game which will be out before the end of the year. And the artist is a lovely chap called Sam Santos, and that you can see some of his work there. So we've got a Wolfman, and we've got that's their Evil Dead 2 card game there.
Sorry, that was my fault.
You're grand. It's got some wee bit of promotion. I'm sure I'll be happy about that. But yeah, so on the left we've got a lovely Wolfman, and on the right we have Lady Marsh from Bram Stoker's book Lair of the White Worm. So there you go.
Ooh.
So we will be incorporating some of Bram's characters in there as well. It's a great card game, and I'm very proud of it. And on the right, something that we've seen before in IFB is the first video game. It will not be the last video game, but I can't talk about that at the minute. In Stokerverse, and it is the Metroidvania. That's the lovely poster that was created by Incubate, who are publishing this. It's coming to a console near you, as well as Game Boy Color cartridges.
Wow.
So there you go. So that's those.
Here's the website for the card game.
Yeah.
So if everybody is curious about the card game, go ahead
register.
and Iconic Studios, go register your name and email so you can know when it comes out.
Yeah, you will get an exclusive newsletter if you do so. And
Very
maybe
cool.
an exclusive short story written by me. Maybe.
I noticed also we have a come down. Damn it.
Dark Legacies.
Dark Legacies there, yeah. So
Yeah.
we are doing a Dark Legacies card game with them as well. That will be coming early next year. So I've no doubt that's going to be another wonderful production from them. The artwork that Sam Santos has been doing for Stokerverse, I can't show any more, but it's just incredible. And look who is actually managing the project at Iconic. He's fantastic. He's got a really good understanding of solid gameplay mechanics. And obviously he's putting everything through myself and Decker. But it's he's just doing an incredible job with the Stokerverse card game, and I'm very grateful that he's taking it on.
Very cool.
Right, okay, here we go. So, in the last 2 months, I have 3 sort of unofficial, non-authorized quiz books published, and we have to say they're unofficial, non-authorized, because trying to get licenses for these things is a nightmare. But yeah, so three fandoms I love, and there are, I can tell you now, there are another 7 that are in production and will be out before the end of the year. And can I talk about the one that we're doing?
Yeah.
Sure. Sounds great.
Right. So there is going to be an IFB one, which is based on our beloved Battlestar Galactica franchise.
Yes.
But the lads and I will probably talk about that later on in the year. But that will be one of the 12 that will be released before the end of the year. But anyway, so that's these are the first 3, and then there's ones from like Terminator and Star Trek and stuff like that all happening. And I have written a Babylon 5 one with a chap at Ian Elliott and Claudia, but we'll be bringing out a second one as well in this range.
We need to start looking at some other ones. I mean, Battlestar's great. What about V and Logan's Run? And we can just do a whole crap load of them.
So it's all there,
Yeah.
I say, I've been focusing a lot on sort of the prime fandoms whenever I grew up, like the Marvel DC stuff and all of that.
Yeah.
But, anybody can do quiz books. One of the most interesting things I did was for a Doctor Who annual, and it was crossword, and it was the first time I ever done a crossword. And it was for the 8th Doctor annual, and I love Paul McGann's Doctor Who, so I did the crossword for it, and it kind of got me into doing quiz books. I've done a James Bond quiz book, which has been very popular as well. Right, so let's move on. Yeah, you got that one right. So we've got this was something that Claudia and I came up with, Musketeers versus Cthulhu, and it started off as a short story and was a bit of a, I wouldn't say joke, but it was one of those sort of things of, how do we create a story in the Cthulhu universe with musketeers? And I wrote this extremely dark, quite blasphemous story, which caught on, and it became a comic book. And then Nightfall Games, who've done the Stokerverse RPG and Terminator with me, they wanted to do this. So through Chaosium, who do Call of Cthulhu, Chaosium own the Call of Cthulhu franchise. They supplied the rule set and promoted this very heavily. And this is actually part of the Call of Cthulhu franchise now. So you can see on the left, the sort of collector's editions, but on the right, it's a guy, James Churchill, who did the artwork for this. So I'm supposed to be one of the musketeers.
You're one of the bottom middle, right?
I think you're quite correct. Now, when I had longer hair, yeah, that was, I don't have that hair anymore. But yeah, and then we've got Lady De Winter, he's slightly based in Claudia, on the background there. But yes, it's quite a dark Cthulhu, Renaissance Cthulhu sort of tale. So probably more Regency. But there you go. So that actually has been a bestseller at UK Expo, one of the biggest UK tabletop game events. Last week, I was just told by the lovely chap who actually wrote this game, Bill Heron. He actually wrote the game, and he's a very seasoned Call of Cthulhu writer. So yeah, that's a bestseller. So Claudia and I we're very proud of this one.
Yeah, sure. Well, congratulations on that one. Wow.
And next up.
Yes, so I'm finally able to talk about this.
Yes, I know. I've been waiting.
So this is my first Star Trek story. I've written this with the help of Walter Koenig, and I wanted Walter's help because look, I want the authentic Chekhov. It's very important for me to have that. The story is set straight after Wrath of Khan 2, and it's what happens between Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock. It's coming out in the official Star Trek Explorer magazine. I am very grateful for Paramount for doing this. It was a process with Paramount, I'll be honest with you. They don't just allow you to write for Star Trek. You do go through a bit of a process, and it's taken a year to go through the process.
Wow.
The next one should be out a little sooner. This is coming out in October, and I had a wonderful editor called John Freeman, who is one of the legends of the UK comics scene. He was actually the editor for the Doctor Who magazine in the 1980s, and he was a fantastic mentor through this process, because I was actually quite terrified. To write an official canonical sequel to Wrath of Khan in between Search for Spock is quite mind-blowing to me, and was really scary. But I'm very grateful that Paramount took a chance and let me write that piece of short fiction. So this is one of the first Star Trek things I've done. It won't be the last.
Wow. That is incredible. And
is that better, Pete?
We got some other stuff. What do you got? Tipsy.
Audio check.
On who? On me?
McAuley.
Me? Can you hear me?
On Dr. McAuley. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah.
There you go. Can you hear me a little bit?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You're peak. I'm good. He's not peaking anymore.
No, we're good.
That doesn't sound right. Yeah. Peaking. He's not peaking anymore. He's not going too loud.
The doctor is in the house. He's not peaking. He's fine. He'll just jump into the TARDIS in this. He'll go back in time and erase all of this, including you, Tipsy Toaster. So just don't worry about it. We'll be fine.
I don't want to peak anywhere.
No. We're absolutely not. George is in the house. George Yakumas, thanks for joining us live. We're here with Dr. Chris McAuley, giving us updates. Finally able to tell us that for those of you that are watching here, you'll see the Star Trek Explorer. That issue contains the continuation, part of the canon. Right after Wrath of Khan, we continue with Chekhov's story, and Dr. McAuley was telling us that he was able to jointly write that with Walter Koenig, so Chekhov himself gets to actually add part of his mind and that was 50 years of experiences into crafting a story with Chris McAuley. So that's awesome.
Ready for the next slide?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so
Whoa.
we all know that I work with Claudia in Dark Legacies. I work with most of the cast of Babylon 5 who are still with us on Dark Legacies. They all are a part of it. There's going to be a specific reveal I give IFB later on in the year of issue 3, because we have a major Doctor Who star who joined Dark Legacies, and issue 3 is written and is being illustrated right now. I have been allowed by Shane, I think he's here, I have been allowed Shane to tell you all something very, very important. There is another Dark Legacies product coming this month.
Oh boy.
It is coming to Zoop. It is a combination of Dark Legacies issues 1 and 2 and contains short stories written by myself and Bruce Boxleitner, myself and Walter Koenig, and myself and Claudia Christian. And we do have a very, very special cover which will be revealed during our Zoop campaign. So keep an eye on the official Dark Legacies comic book Facebook channel for that. Facebook for that one, because we're going to be revealing that during our Zoop campaign. But anybody who likes Star Trek and who likes Babylon 5 will want this exclusive cover, which is being illustrated and painted by Cy Chinook, who is a master artist. Cy Chinook is one of the most accomplished and gifted artists that I actually have had the privilege of working with. So, but anyway, I am going on to Patricia Talman's Magical Living podcast on the 29th of June. We will be talking about the Dark Legacies video game. We will be talking about the Dark Legacies card game. We'll be talking about a little bit more about the comics, and we'll be talking about the upcoming Dark Legacies novel. So join us there. Oh, I let that slip. Jesus, I shouldn't have done that.
Oh boy!
It's the Budweiser talking. I'm sure that wasn't.
I always give IFB some exclusives, so there you go. And then I've been told by I was asked by my editors at Pixelatic magazine. So a lot of people know that my day job is working along with Sony and bringing games to the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 games to PS Network. Sony. I also write columns for Pixelatic magazine, which is one of the most popular video game magazines in the UK. So I've been writing articles on NES assembly language. So yeah, articles on that. So I'm a bit of a tech geek, and I love my retro games. But I've written the previous issue. I wrote articles on Doctor Who video games from the 80s, and in this issue, I've been doing Game Gear RPGs. And next issue, I have 2000 AD video games in there as well. So I don't just do techie geeky stuff with them.
Very cool. Wow. Outstanding. Congratulations, Chris. That's incredible stuff. You also are, working on, obviously there's some other things that you've been, toiling over.
Yep.
That are either in some form of pre-production or production, so you're keeping busy. You did mention your day job. I was gonna mention that. So I would imagine that the old adage is, how do you find time to do this? And the answer, in my opinion, has always been, you have to make the time. But I want to hear it from you, Chris. What is it? What's your? How do you set that up? How do you do the day so that you can cover all these bases?
Well, it's a lot of sacrifice, and it is getting up early in the morning. It is working, and it is structuring your life in a way that a lot of people may find very uncomfortable. It does take a toll on your mental health. There's no doubt about it, and I talk about this very openly on my Facebook and social media. I'm going through a particular time at the minute with parents who are getting older and all that kind of stuff. And that was one of the reasons I went over to Northern Ireland. But there is a cost to it, and you have to be prepared to pay that cost. I mean, any writer will tell you there's a cost to their work, because there's so much of who you are is put into it. And for me, it's not just a passion. I do treat like William Faulkner did. I do treat writing as a day job. I do treat it as a job. I get up, I sit down, and I work at it. And it's a profession and a passion for me. And my lifestyle is not for everyone, and it shouldn't be. Sometimes I wonder about it myself, but I do get a lot of joy from it, and I enjoy it. So yeah, I just keep going. And I want to say a couple of words about your next guest, Jo Boone. I have Jo Boone's Magnetar book.
Oh, wow.
Do you? Wow.
I have it, and it's a lot of fun. So I just want to say, folks, here's a recommendation from me. Go and pick it up. It's a fun book. Grab it. I actually got it a couple of days ago and read it and thought it was fantastic. So there you go.
Well, thank you for that. Much appreciated. I did want to ask you about one of the books that you recently read was it was related to writing historical fiction.
Yeah.
And you put that up, I jumped on all over. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that.
So I've set myself a bit of a challenge. I don't want to just be known for writing in one genre or for one thing. I want to be a writer, and for me that means moving past genres that you're comfortable writing in. I think as a writer you have to keep pushing forward, and as a creative you always have to go into places where you're not comfortable. I am not comfortable with romantic fiction. It's not something that I am comfortable with, romantic fiction. But what happened was romantic historical fiction, right? Because you've got to have some romance in historical fiction too, right? Okay. So what I did was I started researching into this, and I've submitted a couple of short romantic historical fiction pieces to some very well-known UK magazines, mostly because my mum reads them. And she's not going to read Stokerverse, and she's not going to read Doctor Who, but she will read something from one of her favourite magazines. And sometimes it's nice to do that for the people you love, right? So I am embarking on this really interesting journey. And I have written Westerns. I've actually written Westerns that have won awards, and there are audio dramas as well. Frontiersman's, I think it's The Frontiersman's End. Is an audio drama. It came out earlier this year, and it was an award-winning short Western story. I also do, and Shane will love me for saying this and remembering this, Dinosaurs versus Cowboys, right?
Yes,
and there's elements of that I've done research on. In fact, one of the artists complimented me because I included the famous fossil war in the script. He's a dinosaur aficionado. So Shane. So I've been looking at writing that from a alternative historical fiction side, but also making sure that I get all the accurate stuff in there that's important too. So yeah, I'm always learning. I'm always reading books. I'm always studying courses. I think that's important as a writer to do that, and as a creator to do that.
One of the things that I admire about how you share your passion, Chris, is that you will actually put the books out, right? Like if anybody follows Chris McAuley on Facebook, you'll see that he actually shares the reference material that he uses to expand his knowledge, which not everybody readily does, and I truly admire that. And I've actually picked up many of the reference books that he actually uses himself. Chris, you also share the courses that you take. right? You'll put out what you're doing, what you have done. Again, most people just don't, for whatever the reason, A to Z or whatever it may be. You do, and again, I think that it's admirable because it's a way to tune in on how does a successful franchise creator, author, writer like yourself, how does that process happen, and you share it, and I think it's very cool, and I admire that, and I just want to thank you on behalf of everybody else for doing that.
Yeah, no problems. I mean, it's look. I'm not. I don't hoard knowledge. I don't own knowledge. I just pass it on. I think that's very important. I'm not worried about competition in writing, because I don't think there is any competition in writing. I think everybody's got their own style. They've got their own things that they want to do. The only competition that ever happens in writing is plagiarism, and that's illegal.
Yeah.
So no, I'm perfectly comfortable talking about how I craft things, and try and encourage people to do the same.
Which is really, really cool. Because we love our authors. Like you said, we're going to have Jo Boone following in your footsteps here on the show tonight, and we tend to bring on quite a lot of various types of authors, mainly in the sci-fi realm, and everybody has their own unique spin. None of them are the same. No two are equals, and it's fascinating how they come up with the world building as you've shared with us on other interviews that you've done here on IFB, and of course out there. I've listened to some of your other podcast interviews as well, and it's just fascinating, and it's inspiring, which you mentioned earlier. So I think that that's very, very worthy of reiterating that it's an example. You said that if you could do it, it can be done. If you have the will to do this and the focus, it's not for everybody, but if you want to write, you need to write. And what does it take, right, Chris? Pen and paper. I mean,
well, here's I'm going to be very blunt. I'm going to give people the truth about this. So yeah, I mean, you can create anything you want on pen and paper, word processor, all of that kind of stuff. But you've got to arm yourself with business acumen as well. Being a writer, if you're doing that, you've got to arm yourself with that. You've got to don't be afraid of money. For Christ's sake, don't be afraid of money. A lot of creatives, like artists and writers, are terrified of money. Understand how money works. Know your worth, and make what you're worth as well. And there's people who look at me and say, "Well, that's terrible because now you're saying that you write for money." Well, if you get published, the publisher's going to make money, so you're entitled as the writer to make money as well. So look at it, please look at it that way.
Yeah.
You will also encounter people who will try and stop you from doing this, from pursuing your passion. It could be family members, it could be friends, it could even be yourself. Your shadow self could pop up and say, "Well, you can't do this. This is terrible. You can't." But you have to learn not to listen to that and just to do it, and really immerse yourself in the work, and really the work becomes part of you. I think as well, you must become obsessive about the work. Nothing else, and nothing else matters. There's temptations out there that'll draw you away from the work. It could be, now I have a social life. I go out with friends, right? But I'm not going out with friends every night of the week. I don't watch TV every night of the week. As I say, it's a sacrifice and commitment to the work that really matters, and will give you meaning as a writer through your life.
Agreed. I mean, look, there's sacrifices in everything, and that's the key to understanding, how to make the time to do the writing. It has to come with that sacrifice. You can't be in two places at the same time. So you have to respect yourself and what you're trying to do. And if you do, that's, I believe, the building blocks of actually making it bigger and more than, just those 15 minutes a day that you dedicate could turn into something. So yeah, there's going to be sacrifice. Let's face it. Whether it's part of your career or not, there's always sacrifices to be made. But it becomes a passion, Chris. It's not just, Humpty Dumpty on the wall. If you take it seriously enough, who knows what could happen? It can go,
Yeah.
it could really, catch fire.
Go and look at the authors out there who made it, in quotation marks, made it. They're the guys that have had the ladies, men, and they're the guys that just really just went for it. I always have a great admiration for Charles Dickens, because that's exactly what Charles Dickens did.
Mm-hmm.
Dickens' work's very, very powerful, and he came from poverty. I mean, his father was in a debtor's prison, and that's why a lot of the work that Dickens writes is about the Victorian poorhouse and debtor's prisons and all sorts of things. Mr. Micawber is actually based on his own father.
Wow.
But you'll have to pick up my young adult biography on Dickens to get the full story on that.
Where would we find something like that?
But that's the power of some of these writers who have just completely just gone for it, and you can't be lazy as a writer either, because while you're doing the work, two things will pop up, and it'll be the easy solution to a character's problem, which will take you 10 minutes to write, and then it'll be the more difficult arc, which will take you 2.5 hours to write. And you'll always be tempted to do the easy one, but it's not the right one. It's the one that will take 2.5 hours to write, for you to ponder over and puzzle over. And how I get myself geared up to do that is imagining myself on a podcast talking about that character's arc, and that it's more resonant because I chose the longer path or the harder way round.
Very, very interesting. Another little insight into how you can make things work is the, saying it out loud, talking about it, describing it out loud. Yeah, that's very interesting. I just want to recognize Charlene Donatello. Hey, Charlene, thanks for joining us live. Appreciate all of you here that have stopped in and checked in with us. We have with us none other than Chris McAuley, Dr. Chris McAuley, who's also now Ambassador McAuley, representing the Chamber of Commerce of is it specifically Northern Ireland or just Ireland, Chris?
It'd be Northern Ireland, but yeah, let's not split the difference in that one. That's been a 800 or 900 year problem that I am not prepared to open up here. We're not doing that.
Can't be solved here on the show, that's for sure.
No.
But
No.
The point being that you went on a trip, and you did many successful things on the trip. Your work and your spirit and your dedication was recognized. There is a school library that's being named after you. You received the ambassadorship, so you will be representing the Chamber of Commerce, and you were lauded with other appreciations while you were there. And then, of course, you didn't stop for a second. You also were working on the side and getting all kinds of things set up, and that's very, very admirable, Chris. And we here on IFB are big supporters of your work. We really appreciate you taking the time out and sharing all these things, giving us scoops and giving us the inside track on how you do things, and keeping us up to speed with all of your, from role-playing games, video games, possible novels, and media, other medias that are out there, and it's just head spinning, all the things that you do, and you share them with us. Thank you very much for doing that, Chris.
Well, the one last thing I will say is I've signed a book contract with Cosby Media, and it is the basis for another television show. So that's another one on. Yeah.
Wow.
So you can see that got signed up. Was it last week or the week before?
So that you said another. So that means that there's at least two out there.
Two out there, yeah.
Because you said another.
There's a few. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to that.
Well, anyway,
congratulations.
Yeah.
Another
Listen,
thing.
I really appreciate the support, and yeah, it's always good fun to. What I always try and invite people to do is live this with me, because I don't sometimes think that I am really living this. I sometimes wonder, is this all real? But it's good to invite fellow fans and fellow writers and everybody to kind of live this with me. I really enjoy that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, I will go my merry way so that you can have a chat with the esteemed Jo Boone, and I will catch you guys later.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will reach out to you separately. Actually, you have a bravo. Congratulations, Chris, from Lola. Lola's
Thank you very
one of
much.
our stalwart followers here on IFB. So, with that said, Dr. Chris McAuley, thank you again for taking the time out. Here's to you and your victories, all the things that you're accomplishing and continue to. Bravo to you, sir.
Yep. Thank you
Bottoms
for sharing.
up.
Yep.
Here's to everybody. Have a good night, folks.
Take care.
Good night, Chris. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it, mate. Wow. It's just and that was just a
There you go. An artist.
Scratch of the surface of the things, right? Another TV, right? Unbelievable.
Artist.
Another TV,
Yep.
yeah. So
Yep.
in the near future, we're gonna have him on, and there's gonna be actual TV shows.
Yeah, we may be interviewing the next, sci-fi amazing TV show or Dracula TV show person right here, right now. We just unaware of it
incredible.
Yet. We're not sure yet. We're waiting.
It's incredible. Just, he's doing a lot of great things, and we're lucky enough to be on the inside track with someone that's getting all this stuff out. I mean, he's written for some of the greatest franchises in sci-fi. If not, I mean, Star Trek, guys, is part of the American mythos, right? I mean, this is like a big, and he's now officially writing and then some. There'll be other future things that I'm sure are going to happen. It's just mind-boggling. So proud of having a friend of IFB that is doing all these things and is willing to come back and share all of this with us at the drop of a hat. So it's incredible. Thank you so much, Chris McAuley, for coming on and sharing. I see that Paul, Commander Kane, is with us. Thank you. Yes, Chris works hard. He's an inspiration. That's right, Shane. Thank you for taking the time out. He's over in the UK, and Shane has been on our show. He'll be back again, of course, when they have the next crowdfunding, and we'll talk about all that stuff. But thank you very much for joining us. And let's see, Paul, on the way to launch to FAM. Oh, hey, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Dallas, Fan Expo in Dallas.
Expo Dallas. Yep.
So yeah, you know what? We were told that we did not confirm that Eric Larson may be at that. We didn't get a chance to follow that up. Maybe one of you guys could confirm that. I think there's a perfect opportunity for me to bring up a couple of conventions that we're going to be involved in. July 20 is the MiniCon. It is in Long Island, New York. So if any of you are going to be around, come join myself, the Tipsy Toaster, and John One. We will be broadcasting live from the MiniCon. We're supporting the Empire City Garrison. It's for charity, cerebral palsy, and we're gonna be auctioning off a Star Wars collectible. It's the Biker Scout. It's the GI Joe size, the 12-inch Biker Scout on his bike, and it's boxed, original box, never been opened. It's really, really big, and we're donating that for the fundraising of the cerebral palsy. So for those of you that are in town, please come by, and if not, please tune in, and we'll be interviewing live from that. Those of you that are on the West Coast, I will be attending the Los Angeles Comic Con October 5th and 6th. So if anyone is around, I just secured tickets. So if you're there, give me a heads up. Would love to meet up with you. I've had the privilege of meeting many of our fellow IFBers, and we've been to Dragon Con, and we've been to Knoxville, and we've been to New York Comic Con, and we've been to a bunch of other conventions, and we've met many of you out there. So if you are around and you're going to any of these, please let us know. Dragon Con is coming up,
Yep.
and I know the Tipsy Toaster is going to be there. I believe John 1 is confirmed. So, let's make sure that we meet up again at Dragon Con as well.
Yep.
So
I got my I'm still waiting to hear back for press passes, but so we'll find out.
cool. All right. Well, that's happening.
I know I already have my hotel, so I'm going.
Booked and ready to go. Beautiful. I love it. So there's a couple of things that I also want to bring up, but
Ready?
you know what? Real quick. I received a special, birthday gift from the other ambassador out there, Ed Hale, and I want to share this with you guys. I don't know how many of you ever saw this before. I recall seeing this once upon a time, and this is a very, very cool Star Wars poster.
That's
and
cool.
It's vintage. Thank you, Ambassador Ed Hale. Appreciate it very, very much. I wanted to share that with everybody. I thought it was really, really cool. And, so we've talked about how both the Tipsy Toaster and I, we love a lot of the same things very much with a passion. Obviously, our focal point is the original classic Battlestar Galactica, and then, we move out from that. But one of Tipsy, one of your big favorites, aside from, V and Logan's Run, happens to be Miami Vice.
Yes.
So I was a big fan of Miami Vice, but
we're gonna do a whole episode of Miami Vice, right?
We are.
Yeah.
So I've never been quite as big a fan as you, but I was a really, really big fan of actually The Equalizer, and I
really don't remember that show.
Oh my God, with Edward Woodward, it was the best. I love that show to death. One of my all-time favorites. That and Stingray with Nick Mancuso.
Now I remember Stingray.
And Equalizer was a next step up on it, and so I got this as a self birthday present. I want to share that with everybody. Mickey Kosmeyer was a supporting character in The Equalizer, so that was really tremendous. And I got this as well because I really don't think that I would ever get a chance to meet Alan Dean Foster. So I picked that up as well. I'm a big fan of Splinter the Mind's Eye.
Splinter the Mind's Eye was one of my very first science fiction books I read as a kid, I think. So.
Oh my, yeah.
That one,
and his other work too.
Yeah.
But,
he does a lot of TV to book
adaptions.
Yeah. So he did a lot of those. So I read a lot of those too as well. I think he did Empire Strikes Back and a couple others. He did the adaptations for those. I read all of those. But Splinter the Mind's Eye was his own. Wasn't adaptation. I can't talk to that. Adaptation.
Oh my God!
So it was an actual novel.
Rob Baum is going to make your head explode because he just shared some inside information because we weren't properly clued into this. There is the 40th anniversary of Miami Vice.
Yep.
And it's a con. It's some kind of a convention.
They were trying to put it together last I looked. I don't know if it made it or not. I know there was some.
It says get tickets and view schedule, my friend.
Oh, it did work.
Oh.
What's the date on that?
What's my date? God. There's a guided bus tour. Main exhibition opening. Zeitgeist Film Fest speakers, a symposium. Kickoff party, guest speakers, screening for Brothers Keeper.
Yep.
Mojito night, cigars and cocktails. Dude, it's going to be pretty cool.
When is it?
Oh.
When is it? Where is it?
Day 1 is September 12th.
Damn. That's the day before my birthday.
Day 2, September 13th.
That is my birthday.
Day 3, September 14. Day 4, September 15.
I think I'm going to be going to Miami.
Chris, if you had to go out of your way, this is what you should do. You should
That'd be
do
a great
this,
birthday
man.
present for me. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Give it to myself.
This is cool.
Yeah,
This
one of
is
my
way cool.
I always talk about. I probably said it on the show before, but one of the things that I inspire, one of the just key scenes that inspire me is off of Miami Vice in regards to the in the air tonight scene where they're driving down the roadway and there's no dialogue. They're just looking at each other. That gives me the chills just thinking about it. I really enjoy
Oh my God,
that scene so much. I gotta go. Yeah.
They got a bunch of people,
Signed up.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people coming, artists and film stunt car and
Hopefully somebody can give me tell me
There's
where I can get a hold of the comic book I've been looking for so.
There's a whole bunch of things you should definitely look into this. I think
I will.
Thank you, Rob Baum, for spending Chris's money.
Yes.
And he's send pics, absolutely. So I think this is going to be big. That's going to be a lot of fun. Well, tonight we have a schedule.
Yep, we're ready.
SciFi Author, and I am looking forward.
Do the intro. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, as a matter of fact, it's Jo Boone, and she's got a really, really cool website. You got a blog page. You got the about. She does conventions, and we're going to get into that because the convention schedule was last year. She'd done a bunch of conventions, and I want to know, obviously, if there's going to be anything else going on. She's got fan art. I was like, wow, she's got fan art. It's very, very cool. Jo Boone actually does some cosplay. You got to go onto the website to see that. It's really cool.
Oh, we can pull it up. Yeah, we'll pull it up.
We appreciate everyone that's into whatever it is that they do, that are fans as well, right? We've said this almost on any show, that if you're a fan, you bring something special to whatever it is that you're doing, and it shows.
Yeah, the passion.
Oh yeah, that fan passion is there, and we love it. Jo Boone comes from a line of her family was involved in publishing and writing, so she's no stranger. However, reading up on her background, she didn't really start that way. She kind of went somewhere else with it. She's going to tell us about it. It took her a while to catch up to that passion of writing, and so she's got a couple of what look like some tremendous books. And you heard that Dr. Chris McAuley says he had actually already picked up a copy of I believe it was the first one, and now there's a third one that just came out. So we're going to talk about that. You're on. Jo, how are you? Welcome.
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
So I zeroed in right on your cosplay Star Trek, of course.
Yeah. And that was, those costumes were actually made by a guy, Joe Karasman, who is absolutely amazing. And my husband he really wanted those costumes. And I said, okay, so they are nice. They are they are top quality, and they look great. And yeah, they're nice.
And you did a panel too. You did a panel in it too, which is great.
That's kind of my Saturday outfit for cons. We go on Saturdays to cons like that. Actually, this is the right crowd for this. We had a Star Trek wedding, he and I.
No.
Pete will tell you about his.
Yes. We did. We had a Star Trek wedding, and my nephew did the video. And at the end of the video, all of us who were in costume, he stood us out in front of the church and beamed us up.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh, well, you're in the right place. I can tell you that much. Oh, we love it. We love it. Now, you were in the science field. Is that correct? Did I read that right?
I still am, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a degree in, the degree itself I think is environmental health from Purdue University. But it's a chemistry degree basically, and my day job is as an industrial hygienist. I actually had a really long day at work today, so it's fun to be here and do something relaxing because it's been a couple of really long days, three really long days in a row at work. But I work as an industrial hygienist, and just what day am I on? Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. On Tuesday, I was out on an inspection, and I said to a guy, I need the safety data sheet for this. This is real boring shop talk. Cut me off if it's dull.
No, the sad thing is I know what you're talking about, so.
This, I knew this was a good crowd. But no, it said on the label, there's ethylbenzene in this. Using this product could expose you to ethylbenzene. And he said, while we were waiting on the guy to bring the SDS, he said, well, what is ethylbenzene and why is it bad? So I told him, and he said, you must have a chemistry background. And I said, yeah, I do. And he said, because normal people can't give you 10 minutes on ethylbenzene off the cuff. So I kind of still do work in science, but it's not like pure science or research science. It's more, I work in a field that uses my chemistry a lot.
That's science enough.
You got to say it right though. It's like ethylbenzene.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Give me some more of that ethylbenzene.
Yeah. But
yes,
you at some point you actually decided to take writing obviously a little serious, right? Serious, beyond just however you had thought about it or done it before. At some point you took the leap and you've actually written 3 novels that I know of, and they are sci-fi. And
yes.
we need to know about, we always ask world building. We love to talk about world building, and then we like to talk about how what inspired you, and then you gotta break down the stories and tell us where this is going.
Okay. Well, I wanted to write a novel forever. I was one of those people who wanted to write a novel, right? And I had written some short stories and had some success with publishing those. And then I kind of got away from it for a while. When I came back to it, I kind of came back through fan fiction, which I might not mention, in other places, but I started writing, when I picked up writing again after a hiatus, I picked it up as fan fiction. And there were a couple of reasons for that, but one of the reasons was that I came really, really late to the TV series, the late limited TV series Firefly.
Woohoo!
And which of course had only 13 episodes in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie left things in a very unsatisfactory place. And I thought, well, just going to fix this. So I wrote some shorter pieces, and then I wrote a fan fiction novel that is a sequel to the movie.
Whoa.
And it garnered a lot of feedback. A lot of people liked it. I had fan art for that. People made me fan art for that.
Wow.
And I wrote 2 more fan fiction novels, novel-length Firefly fan fictions. And then kind of graduated to writing my own stuff. And it really is my own stuff. I don't want anybody to think that I did the, write the fan fiction, file the serial numbers off, and publish it. The Magnetar is original. It does have some influences. I'm not sure how obvious they are, but it is, it's mine.
That is so cool. So, so Jo, the idea of this thing that you brought up is just, we have to unpack this.
Oh no.
Because we've discussed this, on the show. This is season 4. We've had hundreds and hundreds of episodes. When I was growing up, I did not pay much attention to fan fiction. I was always on the hunt to get the mainstream officially published magazines and trying to get as much as I could out of those first. Fan fiction, in my opinion at the time, was an afterthought, right? So I understood, right? You'd go to these old time conventions. My first was in '77, and there were dealers at boxes, and they had all these printed fanzines, fan fiction, and I was like, yeah, but I'm looking for the Star Log. I'm looking for the regular magazine, and I don't have the money to spend on somebody that made up a story. Fast forward to meeting Chris, and Chris has always been a fan fiction fan. And so he put me back into it. And so over the last 5 years or so, I've been catching up, and we've had fan fiction authors come and talk to us here on the show,
And they become some of our best
we
friends. Yeah.
Yes, I mean we've gone. It's just incredible, and the variety and the talent that goes into capturing the characters and the feel of the shows that we love so much, and writing about them is, it, like I said, I'm a late bloomer when it comes to fan fiction, but I've read so much of it now, and it's like, oh my god, I now get why Chris talks about it the way he does, and to hear that you were involved in it
Yes.
is and by the
I'm
way,
looking on the net. I can't find it yet, so I got to find your
Chris,
fan fiction.
Not under Jo Boone.
Chris is not
Oh,
only is
okay.
Chris a fan fiction guy, but Chris is also a big Firefly fan.
Yes.
So
I'm a brown coat.
So we all aim to misbehave, right?
Damn right.
yeah.
Shiny.
I got the shirt.
But so now you jumped into regular, this novel writing, and obviously
Yes.
the whole world building. So give us, sketch it out a little bit for us and let us know what this is about.
Oh goodness, where to begin?
Book one.
Book one.
Book one, step one.
Magnetar. Well, I wanted to write a space opera because I absolutely love space opera, and I always feel like there's not enough of it out there. I always feel like when people talk about science fiction, they always want to talk about the real intellectual stuff, or the near future stuff, like are we going to colonize Mars, or the cyberpunk, or I just feel like I want there to be more space opera out there. And so if you're going to have space opera, really you've got to have, if you're going to write really good science fiction, I feel like you have to have an iconic ship. You have to have the Battlestar, you have to have the Enterprise, you have to have the Millennium Falcon, you have to have Serenity. There has to be an iconic ship. So I kind of started with that. And the ship that you can see on all three covers was one of the alien species in my universe is the octopods. And the octopods designed this ship. So that's why it looks the way it does. If an octopod were to design a spaceship, what would it look like? Well, that's what it looks like in my head. So I wanted an iconic spaceship. But then I wanted to kind of diverge from, I like to play with tropes. I like to take a trope and flip it around and come at it from a different angle. That's one of my favorite things to do. If you have an iconic ship, it's got to have a captain, right? And typically what you see in science fiction is the captain is always human and kind of a rogue, and there's a type. So I thought, well, what if the captain's not human? What if I went in a different direction with that? So another of the alien species in my universe is the Ga'ul, and they are the Greys. They are the gray aliens with the inverted teardrop faces and the big eyes, and scary looking. And so the captain is a Ga'ul. His name is Chalk. All of the Ga'ul have mineral names. And so the Magnetar and Captain Chalk. But you do kind of have to have a human, because that helps the humans to identify, you have to have somebody that people can identify with. So my protagonist is actually a young woman named Charlie, and Charlie ends up aboard the Magnetar by mistake. Her home planet, is destroyed in a cataclysm, and she is taken off the planet, dead. Frankly, she dies in, I think, chapter 1 of book 1. And then when she wakes up, she's somewhere else, and she's been enlisted in the combined service. And she spends the rest of the book trying to figure out why she's in such bad shape. It's because she was dead. And how she ended up where she is. So she kind of has to solve the mystery of what's happened in her life and how she ended up where she is. And where she ends up is aboard the Magnetar. What the Magnetar is doing in the book is the humans have captured an octopod terrorist. His name is Praetori. He's a leader of the Ninth Arm, which is the octopod's terrorist organization.
Ooh.
And they are species purists. So the humans have captured him, but the humans don't want to have to take him back to his homeworld to stand trial. So they ask the Combined Service, which is the first uniformed service that includes all 4 sentient species: the Ga'ul, the humans, the avians, and the octopods. They ask the Combined Service to do this. And Chalk takes the job because the Combined Service is new and they have something to prove. So they're taking this terrorist, and you can't hold an octopod prisoner. They escape. And they're taking this terrorist back to Domo Moshianum to stand trial. But of course, he's going to try to escape. And the plot of book 1 is where Praetori's fate and Charlie's fate get mixed up together.
Interesting. And that's just book 1.
And that's
However,
just
yeah. So the story continues. It's made it to book 3, which was recently released. I mean, it just came out a couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
it came out in May. Yeah,
that's incredible. Going from book 1, and then making it to book 3. Is there going to be more? Do you see a future in this universe?
At a minimum, there are 2 more books.
Oh, wow.
And every time I say that, my older daughter pitches an absolute fit. Because there can't just be 2 more books. She objects very strenuously. And publishing and marketing right now seems to work in trilogies.
Yeah.
And I think there's room in this story for another trilogy. I know there's room in this story for at least 2 more books. There's no reason it can't be 3. But I don't pad things. I grew up in an era when sequels got progressively weaker. You had a movie, it was a big hit, and then they would make a sequel just for the purpose of making more money. Right. And if that was a pretty big hit, they'd make another, and the sequels would get progressively weaker. So one of the things that I have really wanted to do and tried to do is to make sure that each story is a strong story and has its own, they're not rehashes. Each one has its own plot, and I try not to repeat myself. And I try and make sure that each story is a really strong story on its own. Oddly, Elanine, which is the 3rd book, or not Elanine, the Celestial Sea, which is the 3rd book in the series, and which I've had some feedback that it may be the strongest in the series, seems also to be the closest thing in the series to a middle book, because it does the most obvious things about setting up the next book. So,
wow.
but each one's different. So,
Quick comment from Mediocre Modeler. Good sci-fi starts with the ship. Hell yes. So thanks for joining us, Mediocre Modeler. Appreciate that. So this is one of the questions I like to ask all of our guest authors. If you had the opportunity to choose between turning this world into a movie, silver screen, or turning it into a Netflix series, miniseries, which would it be?
Or a comic.
Or a comic?
Can I have 2 out of 3?
Of course.
I would love to see this as a comic.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But and I'm not a big comics reader, but I would love to see this as a comic. I think it's very visual. Movie or TV series? I don't think novels do well as movies. You have to cut too much out of them. And I don't write short books. I honestly think, and there's enough characters in it that I think it would do well as like a Netflix series. It's so visual, it has a lot of strong characters in it, and I think it would do best as a series. But whatever I can get to take those visuals that are in my head and put them on a screen would be awesome. I'd be on board.
Okay, great. That's what we like to hear, of course. But great. Okay, cool. You'd be surprised that, once in a while you'll get someone that'll say that, they don't quite see it that way, or it's still in a different stage in their minds or whatever. So, it's always a good question. My other follow up tends to be, where can we get autographed copies? We can get your books on Amazon, but meeting up with authors, you do some conventions. Are you scheduled to do any for the rest of this year?
I tell you what, I had never gone to a convention before 2022 when the first book came out.
Oh,
That was just something I had missed. And when the first book came out, Chris said, "You really need to go to convention." Chris Kennedy, the publisher, said, "You really need to go to some conventions." And I said, "Well, okay, I'll go to conventions." Um, so I did a bunch in 2022, and it was too much for my introvert self.
Mm.
I
oh,
just,
really? Okay.
yes. So I hit 2023 and I was like, well, I need to scale it back a little bit. And I think I scaled it back a little too much. And as you've noted, the website also needs to be updated, and that's in progress. But I, um, sometimes you can write or you can do all that stuff. Um,
True.
but so that's in progress. The only thing that I have currently scheduled for myself is probably, oh, what's it called? The name has gone. Um,
Is it a big
FactoryCon,
show?
it's FactoryCon. It's Chris Kennedy Publishing does
Okay.
a convention in the Outer Banks in
Interesting.
October. I think it's actually 1st of November this year, and
Oh,
I
wow.
will go. I do plan to attend that, but beyond that, I don't know. I'm still working out how to do conventions, so I expect to do more in 2024 and to get better at this. I started with the writing. I didn't start with the website and the marketing and the newsletter. I had to kind of pick up all that afterwards. I just wrote a book.
You
So,
you got to start somewhere, and you start in the right
yeah,
place, right? It's you have the product, and now you can figure out what needs to be done to get the product out there. But
yes,
don't sell yourself short, right? You have a trilogy. It's incredible how many people dream of
yeah,
coulda, woulda, shoulda, maybe doing part of it. I hear a lot from
right.
both the young writers that are still really young, that kind of aspire to but are not yet dedicated. They're not mature enough. And then, there's everybody in between, but you've actually done that.
Right.
So we want you to come back, Joe. We want to, first of all, I do want to tell you this. I like the way you have your website set up in terms of your blog page. It's really well written. I really enjoy it. There's enough information on each one of your posts that I feel like it connects, right? The continue reading, you're right there. They're easy reads, they're quick reads, but I feel satisfied getting to know what you do up to, what you're doing. For whatever it's worth, keep that up. I think it's great. It works really, really well. And I guess let us know when your schedule is, but more importantly, next book that comes out, we'd like you to come back.
Okay.
Awesome. That is fantastic.
And the web page is not me. An absolutely lovely woman named Joy Wandry has done the website and is going to update it for me as soon as I get her the information.
Wow.
So yeah.
It takes a team.
I claim no credit.
It takes a team. Yep.
Well done. Very well done. Chris, any comments?
Nope. Like we always say, it's at least a lot of us have great stories in our minds, great at least fan fiction. I love to hear that you came from a fan fiction background, and that's exciting for a lot of our viewers because they're doing it now. A lot of people that we are talking to right now are doing fan fiction. And, it's like, well, what can I go with this? What can I do with it? And then we can see that, you've gotten, where you came from the fan fiction piece up to actually writing your own novels. And, it's all been practice. It takes time. And
I used it to teach myself to write novels, really.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's great.
Fan fiction is actually great for that because you get such immediate feedback from people, and fan fiction fans are very, very honest. I mean, if they think you got the character wrong,
they're brutal sometimes, but they're honest.
Yeah. So and you get that feedback just like right away. So it's great because you can tell if what you're doing is working or not, just immediately. So yeah, I used fan fiction to teach myself to write a novel, and it kind of like lowered the barriers to entry, because when you're writing a novel and you're doing the world building and you're creating it all on your own, that's a lot. But when you take something where you've already got the characters in the world and all you have to do is like the plot and the actual putting words together,
right?
It's half the work is done for you, and you can focus on the part you need to work on, and then you can add bits and pieces as you go.
Yeah.
And it's it was a really great way it was a really great learning tool, I thought.
Yeah, it gets you that practice piece of it where you're not jumping in full force with a full novel. You're jumping in a little bit, getting your feet wet, thinking, I do like this. I do want to continue this. I do want to continue moving forward. Maybe I need to do something more next time. Until you get to the point where you like yourself have finally gotten to the point where you've taken that story and is given it to the world, which is
exactly.
It's so important that if you've got a story and you want to put it out, and you keep it to I always say this, you keep it to yourself, nobody ever knows it, nobody ever hears it. Your family, I don't care if even if it's just one person that reads it, you've made a difference in or made a difference in somebody's life. You've put that thought in their minds. Otherwise, it just stays in your mind, and it goes away with you, and that doesn't do any good. So good job. It's fantastic that you do that.
Connect.
Yep.
So if you've told a story and you've told it to one other person, you've connected.
Yeah, I mean that's how it all started. If you believe in however you want to believe how we came about, but we all stood around the campfire and drew pictures and told stories. That's that was the beginning of the first comic, if you ask me. Drawing on the cave walls. I mean, that was a comic book. Or the first PowerPoint, if you want to call it that too. But yeah, thank you for coming on, and we really do look forward to seeing seeing more books come out, and hopefully audiobooks. I'm a big audiobook guy because I just don't have
I'd
time.
love to have audiobooks. Yeah. And that's probably more realistic than a Netflix series.
Steps. Steps.
Yeah.
Somebody, and somebody may read the book and, hey, let's write a screenplay on that. Maybe something you can do next.
If you had asked me 3 years ago, would I have 3 novels published at this stage, I wouldn't have believed it. I barely had one written.
Isn't it amazing?
There you go. See, that's
amazing,
it is.
And that's a testament
incredible.
to your tenacity. So thank you for coming on, and this is for you. Fans Feel the Fleet, and you're creating fandoms. So thank you so much for doing what you do and sharing your art with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, that's so cool. And Joe's going to come back. When you get that next novel out, you're going to come back to us. Love it. Outstanding. So cool. See that? It's the fans, right? We always talk about how the fans fuel everything that we do out there, and they bring something that is special to what they do. It's not the same as just, we've talked about it, there are professionals in every field, right, and everything they do. You get a professional that'll sit and write, and you tell them, hey, look, this is...
And some of those professionals don't care.
Yeah.
They just write it.
They write it. They know how to do it. They can write well. But we know when we see whatever we're watching, reading, listening to, and it's done by a fan of, it always shines through. We can always tell them it makes a difference, and we truly respect that, and we want to honor that. Thank you. Thank you, Jo Boone, for coming on. Dr. Chris McAuley, always a pleasure having you come on the show. I just wanted, you and I, Chris, we talked a little bit about the fact that I started watching The Acolyte.
I haven't watched it yet. And where's that one? Can you tell me where that one lies in the timeline? Or am I putting you on the spot?
Before.
100 years before.
I believe it's 100 years before A New Hope.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's not and it's not the same with the lady with the weird cat head thing, right?
Nope. That's not it. Different timeline, my man. Different timeline. James McCoy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate all you guys jumping on live. We just had 2 special guests. Not one. We had 2. Dr. Chris McAuley, the ambassador now.
Buy one, get one free.
Course, that's right. And we had Jo Boone, the sci-fi author, 3 novels. Later, the 3rd one just released a couple weeks ago. Came on to tell us a little bit about that. We shared that. That's on. She's got the Facebook. She's got the website. She's covering all the bases, and quite well done. I really liked it, and so that's fantastic. I know that Chris McAuley is going to come back. You guys need to, as best you can, pay attention to IFB exclusive. We're going to be doing some exclusives, as well as IFB Presents. So we're going to have a couple of spin-off shows that we're going to be doing. And one of the exclusives that we're doing, guys, we're going to revisit the classic Battlestar Galactica Topps trading cards. I recently discovered some super mind-blowing, fascinating information on the 2nd series that was never released, but was scheduled, pictures selected, etc. So join us on a IFB exclusive, and
maybe
an
IFB exclusive in Miami.
Yeah, well, that's going to happen too. But if it does, it'll be in September. We will be doing a Miami Vice episode. We're going to do some trivia. We're going to be doing some other trivia. So stay tuned. V. Logan's Run, I think. Or, I mean, again, right? We did it, but, we might be revisiting it. So, yeah, we'll definitely do the V, and maybe James Bond. maybe
Yep.
do some Bond, right? So there's a lot of good stuff.
How
And
about
if you-
here's one that would drop back to you: Damnation Alley.
oh boy, wow, that's a cult classic. So for those of you, Superfan Fran is on with us. Thank you, Superfan
Hey, Fran. We were just talking
glad
about how
to see you there.
we were just talking about how people, how we've met certain people through fanzines and fan fiction. So Fran was one of them. So
yeah, Fran and Professor Rotter, and
Padden and Sean and yep.
That's right. Yes, we got. You know what? That's something that we haven't actually quite explored to its fullest. Sean Shallow, Battlestar Bulletin Board. Sean, we want to have you come on and just talk about the fan fiction you've written. So that's something that we're going to put a pin in that. There's something else that Chris McAuley let the cat out of the bag. If you guys didn't catch it earlier in the show, he mentioned another trivia, unauthorized, unofficial trivia book that IFB is going to be directly involved with of course.
And we always, every year we've done trivia at a number of places. We do it on Battlestar Galactica's birthday in September, and then we always do the Dragon Con. So we have a lot of questions that we've created over the years. So we look forward to working with Mr. McAuley, Dr. McAuley, in regards to creating a book in regards to some fan fiction fan trivia. So
that's right. So that's happening, guys. Thank you, courtesy of Dr. Chris McAuley. So there you have it, guys. Scoops, two great guests, and just awesome to see you. Thank you, everybody who watches this later in rerun. We're just about, I think, at 16,000 for the special where we had Lorette Spang come on.
Amazing. And we're going to try to get her to come back, as a matter of fact, do some Battlestar stuff. So
she wrote a book with her son.
Yep, it was an amazing book. It's still I haven't finished it yet, but I'm still going through it.
Yep, there it is.
Yep.
She came on with her.
Extremely good book.
Her daughter, and thank you, everybody. I believe I'm not sure if we actually broke the 17,000 view mark. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for supporting. It's incredible. It's sometimes it's hard to watch us live, and then all of a sudden
depends where you're at in the world,
Yeah, that's right. Jeff Walters, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Yeah. Give us updates, guys. We want updates from your travels and your convention stuff.
Check out Blades by Baz. Go buy some blades so that you can help fund that trailer for him. So.
Yeah, let's
and then we just discovered some 40K, some information we're going to drop up on the website here shortly.
Yes.
About some books, a really large amount of books capable that you can get for a really good price, and the money goes toward charity. So we'll be putting that up as well.
So cool. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Really, really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to July 20 for the Minicon. Chris Fian, of course, from the Empire City Garrison, the commander that is from the 501st, who is our regular Star Wars updater here on IFB. He's going to be there. He's hosting. So let's not forget, Chris, last two announcements I want to make. June 11th and June 18 will be IFB exclusives. And I believe it's the 18th. We're going to have Mr. Chris Fian is going to do the exclusive with me, and we're going to be talking about Battlestar Galactica.
He was the original Battlestar Galactica. Yep.
That's right. So he's going to be on, and we're going to talk Galactica, bring up some of the old-time pictures, talk about...
Yeah, hopefully you got some pictures pull up. Let me know, and I can get on part of that and start and put pictures in.
We're going to have a really, really nice exclusive. And then you and I, Chris, will be doing the classic Battlestar Galactica Topps Series 2. I'm going to blow you guys away.
As long as I don't have to eat the damn bubblegum again, I'm okay with that.
Oh, you should look that up, guys. What a great show we had when we did that.
Don't make me eat the damn bubblegum again.
We'll talk all about Series 2. I discovered some really, really cool information.
I want to know
took
if the card I got that was San Diego Comic-Con exclusive is in that series. I gotta look.
No, it's not. The card that you have is we defined that card is probably from the
Second
videos.
Coming.
No, it's from the videos when they released Battlestar Galactica on video on VHS.
Mhm.
They released like 3 cards with them as promotional material. You
Yeah.
have one of those cards. It was very,
Right.
very rare. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'd never seen it before, so I was like, holy
No,
crap.
no, yeah. But there's I did a deep dive into the non sports collectible world, and I was able to uncover. You'll see it all on the IFB exclusive. You'll see the material, all the reference stuff that I have. There's a list of all the cards that were planned, named, pictured.
Ooh, that's gonna
The
be cool.
person that wrote this article with
We should
limited
try to reach out
pictures
to that person.
actually got to see, if not handle, an uncut prototype sheet of the cards. There was a Series 2 that was going to be released.
Sick
and
John
they
on
did
him.
not.
Sick John on him. Let's do it.
Imagine that. Imagine.
Sick
Oh
John on
my
him.
God. So very
Yeah,
cool,
See if
guys.
we can do that.
Very cool. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have that. We're also going to do a follow-up with Dr. Chris McAuley. He's got some really, really cool Doctor Who information that he's working on and sitting on. He'll come on. We'll specifically talk about that stuff. He's got a lot going on, and we are blessed with the fact that we have a strong connection, and he's coming back and talking to us about working on these franchises as it happens, almost live. So thank you, everybody. Thanks
Yes.
for tuning in, and
You're all amazing.
it's always great to have such a good time. Please share all the info that you have on the cons and things that you guys do out there. So I don't know. Here's to you.
Yeah, so here's
Chris.
to you. So we will be back next Thursday. If you get a chance, stop by Buy Me a Coffee and look up Interfleet Broadcasting, and if you can support
That'd be cool.
some of the costs that go on behind the scenes here, that would be great. If not, that's fine too. We're here to have fun. We're here to talk,
Yep.
Battlestar Galactica and all the other sci-fi stuff. So we are glad you joined us, whether in person or not. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, X, whatever it may be. But we'll be back on next Thursday. Same bat channel, same bat place, 8:00, and we hope to see you there. Until then, you are the fans and you fuel the fleet.
Here's
Take
to
care.
you guys. Keep the faith. Take care.
I